where is Sri Lanka in terms of 5G and
We really don't have commercial 5G available yet in Sri Lanka because the regulator, TRCSL, has not yet released the spectrum. So the challenge is talent. The opportunity is also talent. You need to really have the passion for technology and telecom. If you are not, we are very much born with a lot of talent. We really have inherited skills, capabilities, knowledge compared to the rest of the world.
good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk 360, where we unveil one bite at a time. Today, we have a very special guest on our show, who is none other than Anuradha Udunuwara, who is an engineer and also a telecom and tech thought leader. So, how are you doing today, Anuradha? Good
I'm
afternoon.
doing great, and good afternoon. I'm doing great, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. To start off with, let's just jump on who is Anuradha Udunuwara?
I would say I'm a human being, just like anybody else. But if you take something beyond that level, I'm an engineer, professional engineer working uh, in the telecommunication space, telecom engineering for the last 20 plus years. I'm also involved, other than my industrial work, I'm also partly an academic. I teach at University of Peradeniya as a guest visiting lecturer, and I have certain engagement with other institutions pretty much around the globe when it comes to education and knowledge sharing, capacity building, stuff like that. Yeah, so a very simple man.
Nice. This is actually, I haven't touched upon this topic in this space in the past few episodes that I have done. So, my listeners and all the viewers viewing this might not know what specific industry like the telecommunication industry is and what basically happens in it. So, let's just explain on what your current role is and what keeps you motivated to do the current role that you're doing.
Yes, my current role at I work for SLT Mobitel. So my current role is actually designing solutions for enterprises, meaning any scale like micro, small, medium, large enterprises who has different requirements, like connecting their locations, hosting their data in the cloud, introducing security, stuff like that, and collaborative platforms, voice, video communication, entertainment sometimes. So these are pretty much like uh, different solutions if you go from one customer to another customer. So I need to sort of design the solutions for the enterprises. So that's what I really do today. But in my previous times, I was doing network planning, basically designing, architecting, engineering telecom networks, like access networks, transport networks, etc. And I'm also a bit involved with research and development for my organization, uh, doing some research areas in new technologies, and also working and helping the team in areas like strategy, architecture, new technologies like 5G, SD-WAN, stuff like that as well.
Amazing, amazing. That basically laid the foundation so we can start. So what when I introduced you, it says that you are in the telecommunication industry and also a tech thought leader. So when we go around this, something that matters the most is leadership. So what does leadership mean to you, especially in this dynamic field of technology when it's changing overall? What does leadership actually means to you?
Yeah, leadership comes at different levels. Where I lead is I actually lead a very small team in terms of designing solutions in one part of Sri Lanka. But thought leadership goes way beyond the conventional leadership that you might be holding within an institution or an organization. So, thought leadership for me, actually, this is something I have been very much passionate about. I'm really passionate about technology, the way technology changes. I'm really curious to know uh, what's the next thing is going to be, and that really drove me over the last 20 plus years to be in this technology field. I never wanted to sort of become a manager, do administration, manage people, uh, stuff like that. I really wanted to be a practical engineer always. So I really am, even after 20 years. So that really drove me to be in the field and to learn more. And one of the things I always do is that I learn, I share, and I keep on exploring. And that's it. And then when it comes to the stuff that I have been working on, like strategy, architecture, planning, designing, operation, maintenance of CSP and DSP networks, designing solutions, R&D, different multiple technologies. Uh, I have actually sort of developed this passion of tracking technologies. For example, tracking the mobile space from 1G up to 5G and to next to 6G, and tracking different other technologies. Uh, and tracking standards, for example, we need standards in these technology areas as well. So that sort of gave me this sort of sharing my knowledge at a broader space, not just in Sri Lankan community, but going to the larger space of the tech discussions around the globe and sharing my views. And then I understood that uh, there are certain areas that I can help out the industry as a whole and sort of direct the industry to the right direction, and sometimes to pinpoint certain things that we do not at very best, so to correct things. And that is where the thought leadership comes in, to sort of mold the future in a way that actually helps everyone, uh, as planet Earth and maybe as human beings, where we should direct technology, especially telecom space, and helping in my own little way uh, to make things the best way.
Amazing. So you mentioned about the evolvement of, like, from 1G to 5G, that actually this telecom industry is, getting in, undergoing rapid changes. So what do you see as the biggest challenges, and from the other side, the opportunities for telecom professionals in the current landscape? And mainly, if youth is interested in starting the career in this industry, what do you see as the challenges and the opportunities?
I would say, Russell, the challenge and the opportunity is actually revolving around the same thing, which is talent. So we have a huge problem of talent in this space, especially when it comes to technology and telecoms, because we are now moving from our traditional, because telecommunication, if you take, it has a history of over 170 years. So pretty much things happen very rapidly over the last 30 years. And we see uh, the technologies, the industries, the work practices, the way telecom operators operate and maintain network systems, data centers, etc., are actually now moving from the traditional hardware platforms to software. Because everything today is basically done on software. Although we need hardware, uh,
Yeah,
we actually abstract all the hardware capabilities to software and pretty much do everything on software. It's equally applicable to other vertical industries as well.
yeah,
So as we move towards, since you're studying cybersecurity, you probably know that when you move from the hardware to software in this stack, when you go above, uh, towards the top of the stack, you understand there are a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of new technologies, and it gives you a lot of agility and flexibility, not like you do things in hardware level. But
Yeah.
when you explore expose yourself to software level, it gives you a lot of flexibility and agility.
Yeah.
So since you have multiple areas in, because the software space is quite big, and you often find uh, lack of talent in some of the areas, because telecommunication traditionally is sort of revolved around hardware. So moving from hardware to software is not easy. So you need new people with new talent, basically coming from software mindset, software thinking. So talent is not easy to be found, especially in markets like Sri Lanka, developing an emerging market, and that is where the opportunity also uh, create. Because if you as a youth, if you as a young undergraduate, maybe you're a school leaver, can sort of develop the skills, knowledge, and education in these niche areas. For example, let's take a simple example of programming in Python. So if you are really good at programming in Python, I think it's very easy for you to find a job in this space, because it's those talents are not easily be found, especially in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the challenge is talent, the opportunity is also talent. So I think talent is going to be the most expensive asset any organization is going to have today and in the future. So
Yeah, true.
talent is
That's
very important, and yeah.
actually true. So, I also wanted to touch on one point is the emerging technologies like 5G, IoT, and other technologies like artificial intelligence as well. So, how do you envision the future of telecom with these technologies being bridged with telecom as well, like you mentioned earlier? And also in terms of innovation and connectivity, what does this industry have in the future?
Yes, some of the things, Russell, they are inevitable. Some of the technologies, like we don't have 1G networks today. Soon we will not have 2G. We already don't have 3G. So we are moving forward. We are as human species, we are evolving always, and also in terms of the technologies associated with us are also changing. So whether you like it or not, you have to go for 5G, and that is where the industry, the world, the research and development, everything is moving. And soon we will be having 6G. So uh, apart from mobile technologies, the other technologies that you mentioned, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and if you take cloud native, Kubernetes native, uh, stuff like that, if you take exactly the same thing I mentioned a while ago, they are all sort of at the software level. Artificial intelligence, cloud native, uh, blockchain, and cyber security even. Uh, they have very less to do with hardware, but the concept wise, the operation, maintenance, how you do the practice is entirely, mostly a software, I think I would say. So so that's why software is actually important. As I mentioned, software gives you two things. One is the flexibility, the other one is agility, and it allows anybody to do like very free, more liberal and democratic innovation the way you want, not like hardware. For example, if you are designing a PCB or something, a circuit, uh, your movements of flexibility is very very minimal. I mean, you have to find hardware components, do soldering, stuff like that. But once you go to software, uh, the opportunities are enormous, and the free innovation, the freedom to innovate is very large. So I think we today have the mentioned technologies, but in the future we will have a lot more technologies, but mostly coming around the software capabilities. So that shows, related to talent that I mentioned, the talent is always, and in the future it's going to be mostly on and around software. So the software skills, knowledge, education, and your confidence To do these things on software will actually give you the best benefits.
I'll just add in a sub question to that. Where is Sri Lanka in terms of 5G, and where are we in terms of improving this telecom industry, and with bridging the new technology? Where do we stand? Because how the industry goes and how it is happening right now.
Yes, one of the good things, Russell, for us as Sri Lankans is although we don't do that well today because of multiple reasons. One of the things we can always be proud of is about the way the telecom networks and the telecom capabilities have been introduced to Sri Lanka in the past. As I said, like SLT Mobitel has almost 170 years of history in Sri Lanka. And if you take the entire telecommunication history in the world, it is also 170 years. When the US had, for example, MPLS as a technology, multi-protocol label switching, we had that in Sri Lanka. When the Europe had fiber to the home, we had fiber to the home in Sri Lanka. When the Europe and the US was testing 5G, we tested 5G here. And we were, South Asia's, or if not Asia's, number one in many fields. So one of the good things for us in terms of technology and telecoms is that we have always in par with the rest of the world in terms of introducing new technology. But to be specific about 5G, although we have test 5G networks running on 3.5 gigahertz, we really don't have commercial 5G available yet in Sri Lanka because the regulator, TRCSL, has not yet released the spectrum. So the moment the spectrum is released, we are ready to launch 5G. But you also need to keep in mind that we have previously invested technologies. 2G, 3G, 4G are still running. So of course, you can bring in 5G. That makes like you are running 4 different mobile technologies at a given time. But that economically may not make good sense to run like 4 different mobile technologies at a given time, because that's a huge capex, and also it's a huge opex involved in terms of maintaining this network. So ideally, one should have 2 mobile technologies: 4G, 5G, maybe 2G, 4G, because 3G is almost gone now. So by the time 5G is introduced, ideally we should have 4G and 5G, but I'm not sure how it will turn around here in Sri Lanka. But that's how the other countries have tackled this in other parts of the world.
Oh, just a add-on question to that. When you told that 5G will be rolled out after the TRC is approval, will we get to see it in the near future, or will it take some time?
It's already there. It's already
Oh,
there
right.
in Colombo, for example. If you take Kandy, if you go to KCC, Dalada, Maligaon area, it's already available. You have a if you have a 5G capable device, you can experience it. But if you have to commercially launch it as
Oh,
a service provider, you have to wait till the regulator formally gives you the green light in terms of the allocated spectrum
oh,
and the license to do so.
right.
So once that is done, we will be definitely launching it. Yes.
I also wanted to ask one more thing related to 5G. Are there any health uh, negative impacts on 5G when you commercialize the technology? Are there any disadvantages regarding to that? Is there anything like that?
No, it's not really to do with 5G as a technology. Wireless at high power, like you have wireless signals which are radio frequency signals. Uh, for you to receive a wireless signal on your mobile device or any other device, the transmitter, the person who's actually transmitting that signal, has to transmit that signal with certain power, like let's say 1 watt of power, for example. So without power, it will not reach your device.
Yeah,
So the problem is actually with the power. So if the received power is more than, let's say, 2 watts, that's not good. And that is why the regulation is happening to regulate, for example, any mobile device brought into Sri Lanka need to have TRCSL approval, just to
yeah,
make sure that they are within
the power.
the stipulated power levels. So otherwise 5G has, as per the technology, it doesn't have anything. I mean, I haven't seen anybody factually proven it that it has certain health or any other complications.
Oh, yeah. So let's just move on to the next part where I just, wanted to know what are your aspects and thoughts on this continual growth and learning in this tech industry. What do you have to say to the youth? How to get in and the career advice that you would give in to someone who is, willing to learn.
Yeah, learning I think is, it's a very broad idea. uh, the only problem I see with my little experience over the last 20 years being in the industry, and also doing the conventional, what you call, teaching, is that we try to teach people. I think what we should be doing is, instead, we should be helping them to learn. So teaching and learning, although we use the two words together, I think we need to help people to learn, not really try to teach them, right? So coming back to your question with regard to what the youth can do in the technology and telecoms field, one thing is, you need to really have the passion for technology and telecoms. If you are not really passionate, I think it's a bit difficult. The one reason is technology and telecoms changing very rapidly, especially uh, during the last 30 years, or if not last 10, 15 years. The very technologies that you mentioned, AI, Bitcoin, like Hyperledger and stuff like that, they were not there like 5 years ago. Some of them are pretty new, and we keep on adding new technologies to that list. So if you are really passionate about technology, you need to have this passion and sort of dedication to learn new stuff. So the curiosity, your ability to learn new stuff, and stuff like that's very important. uh, so have if you have decided that you want to be on telecoms and technology, I think the same thing, that is, we are moving from hardware to software. Software is flexible and agile. So make it a point and explore what you can do in this space, starting from programming to coding, and then sort of designing pipelines, and then cyber security things, artificial intelligence, generative AI, machine learning. Uh, there are a lot of things that you can do. Everything is related to telecoms these days.
Yeah,
We use artificial intelligence, we use cloud, we use cloud native, we use cybersecurity, we use blockchain. You name any technology in the larger telecom space, I mean, larger technology space, we use that in telecoms. So if you are really passionate about it, and if you really understand this movement from hardware to software, and the world is going to be pretty much on software based, it's already is today, and it's going to be in the future as well. So if you really understand those two aspects, I think there are a lot of things that you can learn. uh, Learning is very important. Don't expect anybody to teach you, right? So there are a lot of ways that you can self learn. You don't really need to go to a university or an academic. If you can, that's good. But even if you not, there are a lot of ways that you can learn using online media, online content.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what I can briefly say about something to the youth.
So this last question I ask is I've been asking for the last couple of episodes. Is It's been a static question that I ask, is that what is that final one thing that you say for the Sri Lankans, people who are leaving the country, seeking towards a better job or a better country, and that final thing that you have to say for the youth of Sri Lanka for the future.
Oh, one thing, I could be really radical in this statement. I really don't believe. I mean, what I usually tell my students and the youngsters is, don't confine yourself to Sri Lanka, and don't just think. I mean, you could be a Sri Lankan, but you are a human being on the planet Earth. Don't confine yourself to Sri Lanka. I mean, you could be anywhere. You could be, of course, you are a Sri Lankan, but you could be anywhere. Don't just confine yourself to Sri Lanka. I mean, you could be. I'm not sort of advocating people to leave Sri Lanka, but if you really want to, uh, I really don't want to stop them as well. I mean, if you
Yeah.
really want, for some reason, you are very much okay to go and be somewhere. Let's say you move to United States, or you move to Australia, but you can still work for a Sri Lankan company. In this digital world, the hyper connected digital world and the digital economy we live today, it doesn't really matter where you are. Soon people will be inhabited on Mars, or maybe on the moon. So people could be anywhere, right? And these titles of you are a Sri Lankan, you are a US citizen. I mean, we are all human beings. You can be anywhere. You can work for any country, any company. So I think if you really have that mindset, one thing is it will broaden up your horizons to think very broadly and explore more opportunities. I mean, that's what I can tell. So could be radical as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anuradha, for coming for the podcast today. It means a lot with your busy schedule. Let's just share some final words on the podcast.
I mean, what I would say is like as Sri Lankans, we are very much born with a lot of talent. We really have inherited uh, skills, capabilities, knowledge compared to the rest of the world. That's what I believe. So you really have that in your genes. The only thing is, for some reason, everything is now covered. Uh, maybe maybe with social media, I don't know. Maybe with something else, that capability is covered. So you need to really explore that. So once you explore that, within everybody, there's a great human being who can do marvels. So it's up to you to exploit. So once you exploit, uh, don't just confine to Sri Lanka. Your workspace is planet Earth, and it's going to soon be beyond planet Earth as well. So that's my message.
That's some amazing words. If there's anyone who wants to reach you out, ask something, they can reach you out through the LinkedIn, right? Am I right?
Of course, yes. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on X as well.
Okay.
uh, I don't use Facebook. I really don't use Instagram. I'm not
We
a
can just
celebrity, so
link down the LinkedIn
yes,
link
of course.
down. We can do it.
Yes,
Thank you so much
yes.
again, Mr. Anuradha, for joining in today. Have a great
No
day.
problem, Russell. Thanks.